Pretty good.
Very good. I asked you most of these questions already, but flashy style, you like it?
Yeah.
You like
Yeah.
getting the crowd excited?
Yeah, I like to do big moves. So most of the time they pay off, but when you can't get your big moves, you gotta go back to this solid stuff. So.
Cool. I just asked Mac about it, but how much, if at all, different or more hype do you guys get to wrestle Ohio State?
I've been looking forward to this match all year. I haven't marked in my calendar. It's fun. I know all the Ohio State dudes, and I know it's going to be a great match every year. So it's always fun.
Is it a tense rivalry or
Yeah.
hostile?
I don't think it's hostile. I think it's just fun. After the match, I'm still going to be friends with all those guys. But when it's match time, I want Kent State to win. So.
Yeah. Cool, man.
You know, how crazy was it, having so many matches where one takedown could have meant the difference?
Yeah, I think any other day they can go either way. So today they went for Ohio State, but next week they could go for us if we wrestled them. So we just got to get in the wrestling room and work on the little things so we don't have to leave it up to that.
You talked about your weight. You said your weight's a lot better this year than in the past?
Yeah, I like wrestling at 57. I'm not cutting a ton of weight, but I feel strong at 157, so it's a good weight for me.
Awesome, man. Wish you the best this year.
Thanks.
Just kind of getting back to how, just the rivalry between Ohio State and Kent State, what was it like kind of wrestling in this kind of atmosphere where even though we were supposed to kind of have the home advantage, it could have went either way, judging by, the fans screaming and everything?
Yeah, I expected. I wrestled here as a freshman, and I knew there was more Ohio State fans there as a freshman, and I knew there was going to be a lot of Ohio State fans here this year, but I love the crowd. I love the amount of people here. It's good for the sport, so I like it. It's fun.
Do you think you guys maybe felt a little more confident as you got heavier tonight, in some of the heavier weight classes, kind of getting toward you and Sam and Caleb and the other guys?
Yeah, definitely. Our back-to-back wins, I thought we can get it rolling, and then we have a couple point matches that go either way after that. So, yeah, I like it when we get when I start off, I want to get the team going if we're down or something. So that's my part. I want to get the team going. So.
Talk about your match. You kind of were able to take control of it pretty early.
Mhm.
Pretty routine.
Yeah, I like to. With all my matches, I like to get the first takedown, and once I get the first takedown, it just seems like it snowballs. So, and I've been working on my riding a lot this year, and getting riding time and even working for turns a lot this year is a big change, I think, compared to my freshman year when I wrestled. I didn't ride it as much. I went on my feet, and I got a lot more tired because I'm always being the aggressor. But now I can ride and catch my breath and work for turns, so I like it. So I get teased. I'm turning into a PA wrestler by all my PA teammates. I'm turning into a PA wrestler, but that's not the case. I still like my Ohio State takedowns. All right.
Good match. Can you give us your thoughts afterwards?
It was a close match team-wise. Closer than the score said. I thought there's a lot of 1 or 2 point matches that could have went either way, and I thought we wrestled decent. We just got to pull out some of those close matches, and then be a whole different ball game.
Yeah. How about your particular match overall?
Yeah, I came out a little bit slow. I was a little bit nervous, I think, at the beginning, and I gave up a couple takedowns. But then once I got going into it, I got that turn and back points, and then I got the takedown in the third period. So
yeah, it was a fun one. Why were you nervous? Because of the Ohio State thing?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people there, and this is only my third dual meet wrestling at the Mac Center, so it gets your jitters going a little bit, I guess. But yeah.
Have you ever had trouble with that before, like slow starts in matches, and then once your engine gets revved, you start picking it up?
Yeah, sometimes that tends to happen with me for some reason. I don't know why. It takes me a little bit of time to get into the match. I don't know if I need to warm up better or whatever, but sometimes I start out a little bit slow, but then usually I can pick it up as the match goes on. So, yeah.
And as you're watching this dual meet progress, and Ohio State wins all matches, or you got 1 or 2 wins, and then it comes to you. Are you invested in the dual meet? Are you, as you guys win and lose, are you kind of going like this? Your emotions? Are you just trying to stay calm and think about what you did?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely invested because you want your teammates to win, and you want to win the dual meet. But at the same time, I try to just keep to my game plan and go out there and do what I was going to do and help the team. And at my point, I still felt like we were in the match because with Ian's win and then I had a win, and then we had a couple real close matches after me that could have went our way. So I felt like we were still in the match. So I just had to go out there and wrestle the best I could.
So you're satisfied with the win even though you didn't start?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm satisfied, but I'll take it. I guess take every
Or I
win.
guess aside from the win and loss, the performance.
Yeah. For only being my third match this year, I felt like it was pretty good. So
It
coming
was an
back.
entertaining one, that's for sure.
Yeah, keep it.
A lot back. And how'd you keep your cool? Like, did you ever? I'm sure it's happened before where you're like, oh crap, you got this mindset of like almost a panic, and then you get flustered and you do
Yeah.
more wrong things.
Yeah, I just kind of trusted in my training and everything. What I've been doing in the practice room, working with the guys, and I knew I was still in the match. Only was I down 4 points maybe or something.
Yeah.
So I knew I was still in the match and it wasn't over yet. So I just had to keep wrestling.
Can you recall any comebacks like this before and big back and forth matches?
Yeah, I mean, the first match I wrestled this year, I was down. I gave up the first takedown, and then I reversed the guy to his back and got back points. So
Oh, sweet.
there was another match this year that went that way, kind of. So
Oh, you slow start buckle.
yeah, how about it? Yeah,
So how is your knee feeling after this match as well?
it's feeling fine. It's not giving me any problems or anything. So I'm getting more comfortable with it and stuff. At first, I was kind of leery, like getting in some weird positions, but now I don't even think about it when I'm wrestling. So.
Now this is only like you haven't, like you said, you haven't had many matches, in the Mac Center. You
Right.
had the injury. You're a young guy. This is Ohio State. A lot of different things that would give you the jitters. What besides like some of those nerves? What are maybe some of the other kinks that you're still trying to work out?
Yeah, my conditioning is still not where it was before the injury. I still have to get that back. I mean, it's coming back pretty close, and just like my timing and stuff on my feet is a little bit off yet. I got to get that back. So and that'll come with time. I just got to keep working at it. So, yeah.
Cap, for those people that don't know about the injury, and you were on crutches right till when? Just a few weeks ago?
Yeah. Well, let me think. Well, I went through the whole preseason, then I got hurt like a week before our first competition.
And what was your knee, right?
Yeah, with my knee.
Which,
My right knee, and then
ACL?
no, I just had some cartilage that I had to
Okay.
get taken out, some meniscus stuff and
you
stuff
were on
like that.
crutches for a little bit?
Yeah, I was just on crutches for a day or two, just right after the surgery, and then I came back within probably 3 weeks or so. I was wrestling again, and then drilling again, and then I think the 4th week was my first competition, so I was back pretty quick. So yeah,
Nice win tonight.
thank you,
I
thanks.
think ultimately, you guys saw the score of the match. We just lost every close match. That's not true. Our 65-pounder Buckwalter won a close match, but for us to be a team that's comparable to Ohio State, we need to win those close ones. And like I said, there was an overtime one. There were 3 one-point matches that we lost. We win those, all of a sudden it's a different match.
So yeah, what do you take from a duel like this that's that close on the map, but on the score it's lopsided?
Well,
you know?
I knew going into this that it could end up like that. You hope it doesn't. One of the things that you look at our guys, I think we got 2 guys that are state champs. The rest of them are all place winners. You look at their roster, every one of their guys are 2-3-time state champs, and it's just learning how to win. And learning how to win at this level with we had a great crowd, great environment for college wrestling. Nowadays it's a great environment for any kind of wrestling because you don't see dual meets like this anymore. So it's just learning how to win. And, it isn't much different than being at the national tournament. You're going to have to win in front of a huge crowd, and you have to be able to win a close match. Doesn't matter if it's the first match, second match, consolation round, round to be All-American. You're going to have to learn how to win a close match if you ever want to get to that level. And that's the thing that I think we've probably always struggled with as a team. And a lot of it just comes down to the type of kids we get. But in the same sense, I think we got a good young group. We don't have any seniors. And I think that the kids we have, I can sit back and say, I think they'll learn how to win. If not through this year, as they develop throughout our program, they're learning just by watching other people. They're watching Ian Miller and Buckwalter, who is at this point 3-0 and has done a really good job for us. They'll learn. It's just going to take some time. That's all. You can't get frustrated as a coach. My thing is, we know who we're recruiting. We know who we're getting. We go out. Every kid on their team we went after, we tried to recruit. So it isn't like I'm not trying to get those guys. We just get a little different type of kid, which we have to get in here, we have to develop, and we have to develop them to the point where we can teach them how to win.
Cool. Talk about Mac McGuire's match. He looked like he had a pretty good game plan, knew to stay out of getting underneath DeJulius. How much game planning did you do, and how did you feel he implemented that?
Like that's a guy that knows how to win. You know, when DeJulius came out of college, everyone came out of high school and said, "How good is he going to be? He only has a few little moves." The kid knows how to win matches, and you know, it's apparent in Vegas. It's apparent with this match, the Penn State match. It was very apparent that he knows how to win matches. Doesn't matter if they're close. He never gets flustered. He just continues with his match. And even though we had a good game plan going in, and our guy followed it pretty much like we wanted, the kid figured out how to win. And that, you know, like I said, I think he's a 3-time state champ. You don't just get to college and learn how to win matches. He's been doing it his whole career, and he did it tonight.
Yeah.
So like I said, we had a good game plan. We knew what we had to do. We knew what we had to stay out of. And, you know, like I said, Mac needs to figure out how to win those matches if he wants to get into the, you know, DeJulius the top 5 guy or top 6, whatever he's ranked, to get in that, break that top 10 or to get ranked higher. We got to learn how to win those matches.
I guess, and speaking on learning how to win matches, Buck Walter. I mean, he gets down by 4 or something like that. You know, can you kind of talk us through that match and how you felt? Was it another one of these like, oh God, we're gonna lose another close match?
Well, I think after, you know, he gave up a takedown, which I was all right with after that. Then he got fireman's carry, I think, and he scrambled real. They gave a quick 2, which was fine, but he kept wrestling and kept wrestling. Buck Walter's a 4.0 student. He's the kind of kid that you want. If anything, he'll never lose because he did something stupid, which, like I said, sometimes that's a good thing, too. He's going to wrestle a really smart match. Like I said, he's been injured the first part of the season, so he doesn't have some of the matches and some of the mat time that some of these other guys have. But Buck Walter knows how he knows what he's good at. And he knows what he's not good at, and he kept himself in positions today to put himself in position to win, and he did. So, like I said, I'm happy for him. He's a kid that works real hard. When he was here as a freshman, we have freshmen on our team that are very similar to him right now that they can't get a takedown in our room, and I was thinking, what am I doing here? Buck Walter was that guy 3 years ago, and works out with Ian for 2 years in a row. You know, he works out with some of our other guys that graduated last year, and he's gotten a lot better, and he's persistent just like he is with everything else he does in his life. So I'm very proud of Buck Walter, and like I said, I'm hoping that he can continue on the path that he started so far.
Even though Mac kept his match really close, you know, in the beginning of the match, you know, were you kind of confident looking at, you know, who you were going to be facing in some of the heavier guys, you know, as far as ranking and things?
If you look at it, we weren't ranked higher than anybody except for 157. So can I sit back and say, am I surprised by the, you know, I knew that if our guys didn't wrestle the best they could, that they weren't going to upset anybody. And you look at, for example, Sam Wheeler and Caleb Marsh. Those guys are all ranked, you know, they're all like 3 rankings away. One guy's 10, or Sam Wheeler's guy was 10, Sam Wheeler's 15. So it's five rankings away. But you saw why he's 5 rankings ahead of him, because he won all the small situations. He got takedowns every time he needed them. Sam never really put that last bit of pressure on to win the match, but he kept it close. So I said, going in this match, I knew that if we didn't wrestle our best, it could be the type of outcome it could. You know, I think we knew that Ian could go in and he could dominate his match. I don't know if he dominated, but he was never in any danger. I don't think the kid he wrestled touched his knees once. So Ian did what he was supposed to. Now we got to get some of these other guys to follow Ian's lead and learn how to win those kind of matches. And like I said, every one of those guys that lost are all sophomores and freshmen. So it's one of those things they're wrestling good quality kids, and our guys need to get better, and we need to figure out how to win those matches.
Is it tough to sit back and keep saying that and knowing that hopefully in a year or two you're where you want to be, but right now you're not quite?
It's very frustrating. If it continues this way, it's real frustrating. Our next event's the Southern Scuffle, and hopefully our guys can go and they can upset someone. You know, the idea is to continue to upset guys. Like I said, Sam Wheeler, if he wins that match, all of a sudden maybe he's ranked 12th in the country, and all of a sudden he goes to the Scuffle and maybe gets seated in the top 3 or 4, and he gets a little bit easier way, and all of a sudden he places there high and he gets maybe in the top 10. All of a sudden you go to the national tournament and you're seated. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you've been around the sport long enough. You get seated at the national tournament, it helps. It doesn't, it isn't the end all be all, but it definitely puts you in a position to have more success there. And until our guys can get into, now they're seating 16 people at the national, which is better. But our goal is to be, for all those guys that are ranked from 17 to 25, we need to get some big wins so we can get in the top 16 to get ranked in the national tournament. And like I said, it does get frustrating, but I think it would be more frustrating if our guys weren't working at it. There's no one that hasn't worked harder than Mac McGuire. He wants to get better at what he's doing. And you come to the room and you watch him, and I can leave my wrestling room, I can leave the film rooms or whatever we're doing and say, my guys are trying to get better. We're trying to get them better, and I think we're doing all we can to get better as quick as we can. It's a process, and we're a developmental team, and we're going to continue developing guys in hopes that we can take a guy like Ian Miller and put him in the final someday. I think that's our hope.
Yeah, where do you feel like Ian is right now? Is he on pace to where he needs to be in March? Is he where he needs to be right now?
When guys come at Ian and Ian, when you get another guy that wants to win, they're going to come at him, and Ian can wrestle better matches that way. When you get guys that are very defensive, it's a 7-3 match, and it looks like it did today. He wrestled the 10th ranked guy on Friday, and the kid didn't touch his knees again, and Ian kept pressuring, and it gets a little frustrating for a guy like Ian. But I think Ian's on pace to. I think he's in good position. I think that we got a very good schedule still. We go to the Virginia duels, we go to the Southern Scuffle, and we're at the national duels. So he's gonna see some more guys. Hopefully that he can put himself and get a top 5 ranking by the time, so he can put himself in a good position to be seated. I think he went to the national tournament as freshman. He was ranked or seated 4th or 5th. I don't remember exactly. 5th. And it was his freshman year. I think this is his second year now, and the reason why we redshirted him last year is to give him an opportunity to be in the finals of the national tournament. If not this year, next year. If not that year, the following year. But he does all the right things. He's got, he's working real hard in practice. He's a lot smarter as far as things that he does now compared to where he was 2 years ago. And that's all we can ask for.
Go ahead.
I kind of talked to Mac about this a little bit too, the team in general. I know you said it's going to take seasons, it's going to take a lot of time for these guys to really learn how to win, but do you think a match against a good team like Ohio State this early in the season can really help those guys already start learning how to win?
Well, it's when you win, it's always easier to speed that process up a little bit. And we're not really early in the season. We're about halfway done if you start looking how many matches our guys have compared to what they'll finish with, because we get into the dual meet season here, and it goes by pretty quick because you're wrestling every weekend. So we're right in the middle of it. The best way to learn how to win is by winning, and you can lose you can be the guy that says I only lost him by a point, only lost him by a point, only lost him by a point. But until you win a few of those matches, it's always going to be I was close, and that's what we've been talking to Marsh and Wheeler about, for example, because they're real close against the top guys in the country, but they just haven't been able to get over that hump yet. And like I said, they're young right now, but next year they're not going to be young. The following year they're not going to be young, so they need to get that process going too. And like I said, you watch both those matches on tape. I could sit right next to them and we could go through it. And that never should happen. That never should happen. But until they can stop those things from happening, so they can win those matches, you just got to keep getting at them. And practice when they get lazy for a second, you got to remind them, hey, that's how you got taken down at the end of the period to lose. So you always got to remind them.